Ro.16 TY 전태양 솔라 강민수 스태츠 김대영 큐어 김도우 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드 S 쇼다운
좋아. I like when Rainer says that. That's like, I like it in Korean. Say it with me, Artosis. 좋아.
All right, Tasteless. It has been a very strange day. A day of two O's.
좋아.
Stats for Solar.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just like, you're doing this part of the Chola.
Okay. Well, stats for Solar. It's kind of funny that this is like an ex-Jinair guy crushing a group of ex-Splice players. This was Team Splice before.
That's true.
And now they're all here, and two of them are going to go get eliminated. First one of these two. Who do you think takes this? I actually think Solar's going to win.
No.
Yes.
I think Stats wins.
No, it's going to be Solar.
I'm really surprised. I thought we were both going to agree on Stats.
Stats is,
I guess we're
Stats
still
is not
fighting.
super feeling PVZ right now, and PVZ is a very aggressive matchup at the moment, and when that's the meta, Stats normally falls off a little bit.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, we'll see. Game 1 is loaded up now. Again, the loser is knocked out of the round of 16 GSL Code S.
퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어와 넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가 이번 전투를 지원한다고. 아프리카 프렉스 스태츠 김대영 트라이엄펀트 송 게이밍 솔라 강민수.
All right, so we've already had the hatchery block into taking the hatchery at the third base. Pretty standard of ZVP openers right now. Every Protoss looking to block that. But really what we're kind of waiting to see here is Stats' first building after the Cybernetic score. Wow, I feel like I'm back in time again. Remember Heart of the Swarm all the time before we went up to 12 workers? Be like, and now we wait for the Cybernetic score to finish.
Yeah, yeah.
Because nothing would ever happen, but that
was our best casting for sure. That was.
Look at their record, 23 and 22 in Legacy of the Void.
Okay, now I didn't know they had played that much. That's a very high number.
Dude, they played at least 45 times.
Now, what is Stats going to do? We talked about this a little bit before the game loaded up, but you know, one thing about PVZ is it appears that Protoss has to stop the Zerg. Doesn't mean the Zerg can't do an all-in or try to finish the game quickly, but it does seem that the Protoss cannot just sit on the game and try to go win this in a war of attrition. And so, basically, the Zergs know that there's some kind of push coming, some type of attack, some type of incoming technique that's good, that's inbound, that's going to try to go for the knees, so to speak, to try to just slow them down, to try to stop them from getting too powerful. Now, when you know that that's coming, because essentially it has to happen, it gets a little bit easier, right? Because all you're trying to do is preempt that, and then outlast the game.
Yeah. But let's not forget there is like a range of when they can attack you.
Exactly. But we also got to point out that you know, Stats is a player who's not as known for doing these types of timed attacks. I mean, StarCraft 2's been around for a long time, but most of the time Stats was just staying back and defending. Doesn't mean he can't do some type of attack, but if he does, I want to see what kind of attack it's going to be and how well he can do it.
Yeah, well, right now he is going for glaives really quickly. Oh my god, Bainly nested a bunch of lanes.
Did he not see it?
I don't think he saw it.
I think he didn't see it.
No. That looks normal.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you hit speed. That's, of course. So, it looks like there's a little frog in there.
Where?
Look! There's a little frog in there.
In what?
In the spawning pool. Oh my god, there's a little frog in the spawning pool.
Wow.
Well, it's a big frog, actually. It's like as big as the whole pool itself.
Yeah, it's at least the size of you or me.
Bigger. It's bigger than a stalker, even. Okay, now, the Baneling bus that's incoming, he's not really ready for it. He doesn't have any idea that it's coming. There's no sentry. Oh, boy.
I think this might just work. Here we go.
Oh, he shows it right before the warp gates are done.
Ah!
Yeah. Banelings do not do well against stalkers, but he is softening it up quite a bit. Look at this. That bought him a lot of time, man.
Yeah. And the force field comes down.
Good force field.
Now the cybernetics core is going to fall as well, which actually really limits your options. You could pick up there on the warp prism.
Yeah, that stalker staying alive does make a big difference. The Banelings come in and hit those pylons. The pylons getting very, very low here.
Protoss can continue to fall back and try to retract. The defense is further and further away here. Good pickups there with the Zealots.
Oh my god.
Stats.
Crazy.
God King man.
Oh my god, these
God
games today.
Emperor stats.
Dude, that was really close. If he like, I feel like if it was a half second more that he waited before the Banelings walked in, we might have seen a warp in of Adepts there. And without that force field,
I think you
like
make a
the
very good
Adepts
point.
add more DPS behind, sure, but I think the force field was really crucial.
I think the force field is absolutely mandatory for sandbagging that attack enough to where it fizzles out. Now, what the hell is going on here with Solar, by the way? These games are I know that everybody's going to have games that look like that, but we've had more games from Solar that look like that, where he does an attack that just doesn't work, and he goes, okay, I lost.
Must have been watching Scarlet's play.
That's right. Scarlet's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
She can do the macro play, but she usually pulls it off with some great cheese.
Oh,
the jacket is off. Get this jacket off of me.
Body
Give me
temperature's rising.
Triumphant Song Gaming shirt. I'm starting to sweat. I'm taking my shirt off. Now, Artosis, your turn. Take your shoes off, Artosis. It's getting weird here. Game 2 on Everdream has loaded up.
전투 준비 완료.
We have an update for you guys. A week from now is Stats' birthday. Today is Solar's birthday.
아프리카 프렉스, 스태츠, 김대영.
That's correct.
트라이엄펀트 송 게이밍, 솔라, 강민수.
All right. Now we get to see how this game will end. So far, again, now we're up to 6 boppings and 1 good game today.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. I mean, every now and then you're going to have a day like this. It just happens.
Yeah.
I generally prefer it if we have, like, just some boppings mixed in every day.
Then,
like, some good games every day.
It's the right mixture. You know, you're making a nice, good stew.
Mm-hmm.
You want a few bops in there.
It's like you got to eat a certain amount of rocks, but do you want all your rocks in one soup?
Rocks?
Yeah. Those would be like bops, kind of like.
Or you could just add food. People don't eat rocks, Artosis.
What?
Artosis at home eating. Guys, Artosis eats rocks. How embarrassing.
Oh my god.
I was thinking it's like you want your bops are kind of like the veggies in the stew. You know?
Yeah.
But your macro games are like some of the meat in the stew. Or the fish in the stew, you know? You're like, okay, this is what StarCraft, you get a good meat stew. It's like, all right, well, this is,
but what if it's
pork,
like
or here's the fish.
Some stews really revolve around the veggies in them. Now, I know technically mushroom is a fungus, but like mushrooms in stew, oh my god.
Mushrooms are excellent in stew, and
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, those are
those wouldn't be bops.
those are timing attacks. The mushrooms in the stew, where you're like, ooh,
yeah.
look at that here, because yeah.
I got you. Okay, I can be on board with this now.
Are we good?
Yeah.
And then the crazy strat that usually happens once every GSL day is like the nice drink you pair with it.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's a red wine if it's a beef stew.
Maybe it's a balance wine if you're a Zerg player.
Very good, Artosis. Took me a minute. I was like, I don't think that's a type of wine. Oh.
Okay, so looks like a very similar opening from Stats. Since it didn't really get too spoiled what he did due to the Baneling attack, maybe he's just going to do it again. I'd love to see that Baneling all in again, Tasteless.
He's like, I saw Tage do this and it didn't work, so I thought I'd try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Same
but
all in
he
3
lost
games in a
with that, man.
row. Yeah, but I'm better, so,
Yeah.
you know?
Different matchup, bro.
Different matchup, different races.
That'd be so funny if Solar did the same thing.
Just 3 Baneling busts in a row.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys.
It's only 2 because
you can be
never
pro
works.
gamers too.
Yeah. What time is it today? I feel like we've been moving along much faster than normal. We started at 1. It's 2:50 right now. That's crazy. We've been on for under 2 hours.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Wow. Normally a GSL day is about 4 hours, but I feel like I'm just now warmed up,
Yeah.
you know? Usually it's about the first hour.
Hey, we could get some long ones now. Who knows? Maybe this
Please.
turns into the best series we've ever seen. But since it's opening up with Glaive to Depths, I'm thinking probably not.
Most likely not.
Here comes the Prism. A couple more gates about to finish up.
16 lings being produced here. The Roach Warren is nearing completion. We could probably suspect that the, depending on where the adept positions are, the Zerg can hold this. But, you know, Protoss players are pretty crafty with how they fork out the glaives.
Oh, yeah,
Or the shades, excuse me,
If
after
you-
glaives is done.
If you make a mistake, you're going to have a very hard time then. Okay, let's see. The Queen's just fighting kind of alone right now.
Cancels that shade. I thought he might have actually.
That one
Stuck
felt
with
like
it.
he might have been able to take it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
But I guess if it doesn't work, then you've just thrown this away.
yeah, if you lose your Adepts, then you're generally going to lose the game. They have to do something.
Nice
Or stay alive.
spread of damage here. Does not. I don't think he's killed a queen over there in that last
No,
attack.
I don't believe he killed any, but he did get rid of a bunch of the transfusion energy, so maybe next time. Adding 4 more Adepts to the fray.
Okay, even the Spore does not go down here. Okay, so that's the time he decides to commit. Now the Lings actually had some decent surface area, but that seems to be slowing down here.
He's not really getting anything done. He's killing off a bunch of the Lings, sure, but just 4 Adepts left over. His army is very, very small right now.
I think that the attack has, for the most part, not succeeded Artosis.
Yeah, he traded 12 Adepts for 37 Lings, so we know that that's not a very good trade. All right, gets a Creep Tumor. I mean, that's something.
The third's being taken now. We do have Immortals coming out here. I don't think we're going to have another serious push here from the Protoss. I don't think you could, right? I mean, he's lost the bulk of his army. Not that Adepts scale that well, but, you know.
Well, the threat of them going in forces your opponent to continue to make units and be careful about drones. And then, you know, just having some units is probably a good thing. Here, you know, Stats is kind of at the whim of Solar.
Very true.
Solar gets to decide how this game goes. Like, do we drone? Do we make units and go? There are a lot of roaches being made. I'll tell you that.
I tell you.
I tell you, Tasteless. I tell you what. 8
Tell you
roaches in that production tab. 4 overlords.
I don't know. I'm not feeling like this is going to be great here for Stats. But
Well,
I
he's
don't
got
know.
4 sentries, 3 immortals.
Yeah.
It is a lot of roaches that are being made, but, you know...
If I'm seeing this correctly, he's just going to attack back over here. He's not going to take a 4th and try to hold off another attack.
Yeah,
it seems like Solar, once again,
He is
says,
definitely
it's
attacking.
my turn, and let me just attack into you and make this work. Now, as Stats is moving out, and this appears to almost be set up for a possible push. Well, I say that he's turning around. If the push does come, you know, one of the easiest ways to follow the push, and if it's going to be okay for Protoss, is are the Immortals staying alive, and then has the the Warp Prism been picked off? Because if the Ravagers can target the Warp Prism and pick it off, the push is basically over.
Well, Solar is coming up with the push right now. He's going to bring the fight to Stats, which is really important. If Stats holds this, he's going to be in actually very good position.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, Solar, this is a way to win, but if he loses this, he's kind of doing it to himself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And Stats, I mean, he's actually built himself a very solid economy. He's got more workers than Solar has right now. He's got his Robotech out. He's continuing his upgrades. If he can hold, this is great. That is a lot of units coming in.
Okay. Nice force field so far, forcing a lot of those roaches to run around. All the Immortals still perfectly fine as far as HP goes. The Warp Prism continuing to juggle and juggle.
Backs up into so many shield batteries right now.
Some of those biles, though, connecting with the army. Actually, a lot of these biles connecting.
There's like 5 shield batteries over there. One over here as well. Has a couple zealots in that wall. Oh, no, those are actually changelings. Kind of funny. But the Immortals haven't died. The Ravager count is growing, which gives some staying power to this push. But right now, I mean, it feels like Stats is holding.
You know, this angle that Stats is at, it's funny. Most of the time we see players easily avoid, oh, how funny he's transferring probes in this. We see them easily avoid biles, but there's actually not a lot of surface area. This chasm in the center right makes it hard to move anything back. And
he did eat a lot of biles that last time.
Yeah. Queens are turning around, signifying that the rush is close to ending here. And now we see that's happening. He's going to back up. Is he going to try to go around to the bottom, though? Yes, he will. I suppose it's hard to argue why you wouldn't want to attack this. You know, it's just free structures and free production.
Yeah, coming on. Okay, the Immortal Warp Prism coming out to microbit. A couple more gates to fall, so it's 3 gates that have fallen recently. You see Stats' minerals and gas starting to peak a little bit.
Oh, damn. Again, more biles connecting, unpowering that one gate.
Yeah, the biles are definitely doing work. If he can keep him back and get this Baneling speed done with this +1 melee, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, coming forward now. And I don't know that he can get in there. I mean, keep in mind, guys, we have Ravagers, which don't really scale that well if we go into a super late game. I mean, Protoss gets a lot more, how do I say this? The unit composition builds off of itself. You know, now we have Templars being added in. Roach Ravager is strong for a very specific moment in the game, and that's why we saw Stats with far inferior supply also hunkered down in a defensive position, ready to try to hold that off.
I think this is why he's getting into the Banelings, right?
Yeah, I think so.
His Roaches definitely aren't going to be worth anything at this point, but adding a bunch of Banelings and Lings in with those Ravagers, it gives you a lot more flexibility, right? The Lings can kind of block things. If stuff is too clumped up, the Banelings are really going to punish. Obviously, the Bile's still really reasonable. Okay, Baneling speed is just about to finish here. Stats adding in quite a few High Templars. It's really important. With the amount of Banelings out here, I feel like he just needs a bunch of Archons. That is so many Ravagers, though, so the Archons actually might fall kind of quickly. Maybe he'll just opt for lots of Psystorm. That's hard, though, because when Speedbanes roll in, are you going to be able to stop them?
Okay, nice storm on those Banes. A lot of them not connecting with their targets. It's key that the storms hit each of the Banes before they're actually able to detonate on a unit. Good safe cancel there at the last second. And now it looks like Solar's going to rotate over here again to this wall of gateways. But this will allow Stats to come down here and maybe try to pick a fight right over in this ramp that acts as a bit of a bottleneck. Zealous now coming down here too.
Love some of these Biles, forcing Stats to break off the chase. We have a Spire on the way. That is kind of an interesting choice there. I wonder if he's aiming for Broodlords to help counter this composition. I think that would be totally fine. I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for Mutas to do anything, though.
It would seem like we're too far into this game for Mutas to be good. You know, I mean, you can just have the Stalkers help defend that. He's got Storm and everything else. But now it's Stats' turn. Stats he's getting to get to play the game that he often gets to win in.
Let's see if he can break through here. There's not that many Banelings left over. I think that was really the strength of this army. Oh man, those Archons really absorbing a lot up at the top. The Banelings try to get to the High Templars. They don't quite get there.
Great swarms there on those Ravagers. And when it's just Ravagers remaining, you know, that's when things are getting pretty low as far as healthy count here for the Zerg.
Oh
and for
God.
the blink forward here,
Yeah.
gunning down these Ravagers. I think Stats might have done it. He's coming in, drones are pulled. A good dodge there on the Biles as the last few Ravagers are shot down.
Yeah, Stats is doing a great
GG.
job there. That is it. And Stats going to advance to that final match with the 2-0 over Solar. Solar having a very disappointing day.
Yeah, this was a rough one for Solar. I would say, actually, this has probably been one of his, at least for the way that each game went, probably his worst day I can remember.
Yeah, it felt like that. It did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tough group and all, too, but
He got to play one game that looked remotely normal.
yeah,
And then
this last
Stats
one.
outplayed him. Yeah, and the rest of them it was
It's true. It's true.
his strategies failed, or his opponent's strategy got to activate itself before
Sure.
he was ready.
Well, I think when you do end up killing the Adepts as efficiently as he did, which I think
Yeah.
he did pretty well, like he didn't lose drones, I think a counterattack is not the worst idea, but he is playing against like kind of the defensive god of Protoss, and Stats was very smart. He made like 5
Yeah.
extra shield batteries before that attack hit. That makes it pretty hard to break.
We're going to go to a short break. We come back, our final best of 3 in Group B of the GSL Code S.